Hello, this is a very spontaneous video. I'm not speaking too loudly because it's the early hours of the morning and there's other people in the house at the moment. I've come across a video circulating around at the moment and it's from the Vermilion Parish School Board in the state of Louisiana. Well, a teacher there, I believe her name is Deshia Hargrave, had raised questions about superintendent's pay rise. Now, I haven't seen the whole video, um, but basically what happened is after pushing these questions, the school security police escorted her away. That's putting it one way. They grappled her to the ground, put her in handcuffs, and apparently she's been threatened with jail. Now, I find this deeply disturbing, and I always have found that sort of thing very disturbing. Here's the thing. I want to directly address the apologists for this sort of situation because they always come out of the woodwork to find excuses. Here's the thing, even if she was pushing it, even if she was being disruptive, which I get, some people do push their point to the point where they're, shouting over people and stuff. Even if that was the case, there's people that saying, oh, I've seen the whole video and so on. If this is not the definition of a police state, what is? I mean, I just find it disgusting, to be quite honest. And time after time after time after time, we see this in the United States. It's not democracy, it's just not. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is a stain on the image of Louisiana. And I would say this, and this might offend some of my viewers, but so I have to be honest. A lot of Americans do like to boast about being the greatest country in the world, beacon of democracy, beacon of freedom. Can you, with a straight face, look at situations like this where people are threatened with jail for asking questions and call that a democracy? That's a police state. Um, if she's being disruptive, okay, there may be a reason, she's asked her question and she still keeps pushing it. I get it. Heckling is not good. I get that. But this is clearly excessive. And there are certain states in the US where it always crops up Indiana, Louisiana, and there's others. But quite honestly, no state is immune from this sort of stuff. I want to address very briefly one of the excuses, though, because this is the bit that really works me up. She was resisting arrest. If you're of that mindset, then you're a moral card. You're a moral card. Why? Because you look at a uniform and you automatically assume it's always justified. You never rationalize that it's an abuse of power. This idea that people should just shut up and keep quiet when they're being unjustly arrested, put in handcuffs, it's grotesque. And it is moral cowardice, in my opinion, because the people who always churn this line out, she was resisting arrest, he was resisting arrest. There are some circumstances where someone's being violent, okay, but if you use that as a rationale to justify blatant abuse of power, you're a moral card. Because that indicates to me that you would stand by and watch any injustice under the guise of, oh well, uh, they didn't follow the guidelines of what is deemed to be acceptable because someone is wearing a uniform. We could have worded that better, but I think you get my drift. The idea that law enforcement can do whatever they want, and that is basically what this comes down to. People who say someone was resisting arrest are essentially saying we believe law enforcement can do anything they want. including grappling a woman to the ground. She's not being violent, she's not armed. It's disgusting. So shame on the Louisiana, specifically Vermilion Parish School Board. Shame on you. It's repugnant. And the state of Louisiana is a police state. I'm saying that sweeping statement because this seems to be a normal thing. Unless there is a governor level condemnation, then the statement Louisiana is a police state will be justified. I just I can't get my head around how anyone could justify this. I mean, what about the First Amendment? The right to freedom of expression. Clearly, that doesn't apply to those who come out with this line resisting arrest, resisting arrest. And there are far, far worse cases than this, but it is a snapshot of a sickness, which is abuse of power. Abuse of power is one of the greatest threats to democracy. So the next time you say America's the greatest country in the world, reflect on things like this. It may be that in some regards America is, but in other regards, America is lagging way behind many other countries. When it comes to abuse of power, America has a long way to go. And that's a weakness, actually. I just, I can't get my head around this. Although it doesn't surprise me. But it makes me so angry when people try to condone it. It doesn't matter what the full context is. It doesn't matter if she was being disruptive. That is not a reason to threaten someone with prison, for goodness sake. Okay, ask her to leave. But prison, that's what she's being apparently threatened with. And being Louisiana, which is one of the backward states, I could well believe it. I mean, this is a stain on the image of Louisiana. That there, like everywhere in the world, there is a good side. We think of rich culture, we think of rich cuisine, but when you have abuse of power, it clouds over everything else. It really does, because that is a fundamental issue about liberty. And all I can say is, thank God I don't live in the United States. When I see things like this, it is a stain. It is a stain on American democracy. It really is. And I know millions of Americans agree with me. And it's sad because America is a great country in many ways, but the abuse of power that so often happens, it, it's it's really no better than a banana republic, quite frankly. When you see this sort of thing happening, anyway, I've made my point. I'll leave it there. But I can't rationalize how anyone would churn out the line. She was resisting arrest. Actually, she wasn't. The footage I saw, she was walking away. She was simply saying, "Don't touch me." She was clearly concerned, and she clearly didn't want to go to jail for asking questions. Her only crime seems to be defending herself from yet another law enforcement thug abusing his power. And to those who don't, I would say instead of complaining about, getting a bad image and maybe you don't engage in this sort of behavior, either condemn it or you've got nothing to go on. I firmly believe that in any organization, in any body of people, in any group of people, where there are some abusing power, if the moderates don't speak out, then they can't really complain. So those officers who don't abuse their position, who don't grapple people to the ground, who are not being violent, condemn this. Condemn it. Simple. It's absolutely disgusting. Leave it there.